Uh-oh, who do we have here? There she is.
Hi.
Hello, Queen. How are you today?
I'm so happy to be here with you. Let's just leave it at that.
I am thrilled you are here. I'm going to get your links up, girl, really quick. Which one would you like to begin with? Can I do your
Oh,
bio link?
sure. That has
Let's
everything on it.
see. Let's see. Although I may have a favorite. Hold on, let me take another
Yeah, you
look.
go ahead. You pick your
Yeah,
favorite.
I love your bio site too. I don't know. I love that bio site. It's so pretty. So
Thank
we
you.
are going to copy that. We're going to put that. Girl, this is a great time to ping people in. So I'm going
Yes,
to
I
be
put
doing
us on
that.
Instagram too. So,
Oh, awesome. Yay. And I
yeah.
will be sharing a room while we chat. I'm going to ping some beautiful people in here right now. We are in the Terra Power Soul Club. All right. How has your morning
Ah.
been?
Oh, are you doing the holisticism thing with the, what is it? Growth edges? I
Oh,
started
I
my
know it.
morning with that. Go
Oh,
watch the
okay.
replay. It's so good.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. I
Yeah.
will get there. I will
Yeah.
do
I always
it.
think, oh, I'll just sign up. I'm paying for this. And then I sign up and I'm like, oh my God, thank goodness I
Yeah,
signed up for this.
I'm going to stick with it, Karen, for a while.
Yeah,
I'm sticking with
me too.
holisticism for a minute.
Every
I
time I
know
think
that,
I'm done, I'm like, oh no, I'm staying for this
yeah,
part.
no, I'm not
And
done.
then I
Plus,
love it. And then I meet people and I love it.
well, awesome. I am so thrilled to have you. I'm so thrilled to have you here and to do our
I'm so
interview.
happy to be here
Hey,
with you.
hey, Aurora, how are you? I'm going to share the room really quick
Oh my gosh, we
to.
get to meet in person coming up
I know,
soon. I'm
I
so
know.
excited.
Me too. I am thrilled. The replays are on, so this is great, girl. So you'll be able to take the audio. We can do all kinds of fun stuff with it. And
Yeah, we'll have fun.
thank you for letting me interview you. And so we're just gonna charge forth like it's a room full of people because
Yeah.
I normally get pretty good engagement with my replays, and so we're just gonna go. And Karen, you never know, this may show up on the podcast. So, and
You have my permission to put it wherever you want. And, I'm probably going to be cringy, and that just helps other people know that it's okay to
yeah,
be like cheesy.
you're never cringy, and our cheese is the best. we
It
have
is.
we have the best cheese ever. So I'm gonna keep pinging Karen until I'm in
Yeah.
pinging jail. So after a little while, Clubhouse will stop me. So in the meanwhile, I'm just going to keep on going. I suggest to everyone that's down there, this is a great time to ping in too. We're going to get started in just a couple of minutes.
Cool.
And as you are listening, y'all, if you've got questions, put them into the chat. I'm going to do my best to monitor the chat. And now I'm officially in ping jail. So I'm going to stop that. They will
I'm
not let me.
pinging.
Okay, cool. They will not let me ping anybody else in. So that's okay. That is cool. And I'm gonna go ahead and get us started, Karen. You just relax,
Erica's
chill.
here.
Erica, hey! I know Erica's gonna have tons of questions. I know she's new to you. And it's like at this point we can just ask each other questions telepathically and get the answers. But welcome everybody. My name is Halleck Hannah. You are in the Terra Power Soul Club. Take just a second and reach up there, tap that little green chateau, and join us here in the Terra Power Soul Club. This is the place where we elevate and electrify the conversation around all things tarot, candle magic, intuition, and the psychic arts here on Clubhouse. And one of the most beneficial things I have learned since starting my own spiritual journey and since starting my own intuitive business, the Gilded Apsara, is how important it is to know and to be in community with other brilliant, inspired, actual working professional intuitives, the people that I call boss witches, people that actually have real life intuitive businesses, people that have found a way to take the things that they are good at using their own human design, their own astrology, their own magical and spiritual and ancestral lineages, and they've managed to combine that with what it is that they love to do and to offer their services or their products to the public. They are real businesses, they are real people, they have gone on real life journeys and are hopefully still on learning and lifelong journeys. And it is important to know these amazing people. And Clubhouse and any social audio app, in my feeling, to be honest, is a perfect way to be in conversation and to make real life connections with real people that are doing perhaps what it is that you want to do. And so for spring and for Aries season, I wanted to spring clean my Clubhouse experience and really share with you the people, the places, the things that have been most influential for me. So that is why we are doing the Boss Witch interviews. And I am so thrilled to welcome my sewing fairy godmother and yours, KarenLePage, to our first Boss Witch interview. So I'm going to do just a quick introduction of myself, and then we are going to jump right into questions. Karen's going to introduce yourself. So you all make yourselves comfortable, get ready to raise your hand and ask this wonderful woman questions. I'd love for you to share this room. Hit that little share button down there is the second one over from the bottom of your screen, and invite people on into the room. Karen is somebody that I want you to know. I know other people are going to get to know, and I'd love if you share it with the greater Clubhouse community. Y'all know me. I'm Halleck Hannah. I'm your friendly neighborhood tarot reader here on Clubhouse. The tarot is my love language. I am a professional tarot reader, an educator, and content creator. The tarot is my love language. I love using it to help women escape, recover, heal from abusive relationships and toxic environments. And it is my passion place. And one of the most beautiful and passionate people that I know is my good girlfriend, Karen LePage. Good morning, Karen. Welcome to the Boss Witch interviews. I would like to get started by reading to you, Karen, and to the audience a little bit about a special person. And Karen, I'd love for you to chime in on who this person is.
Okay.
She has been sewing ever since she was 5, which is over 40 years now. She's never really fit into clothes off the rack, no matter what size her body was. So she learned to make and alter her own clothes. She is a master of her craft. I'm going to start crying talking about it. I'm going to get myself together. Get myself together. One of her superpowers is making literally anything that you, she, or I can imagine from fabric. She's an adventurous spirit. She's willing to learn from her mistakes. And she's an unfathomable well of patience that makes her human. She believes that everybody who wants to wear or make clothes deserves to have a garment that fits or a pattern that they can use as a template to start. She is a collaborator of the highest order. She loves to lend her personal magic to meaningful projects that have an impact on the earth stewardship. And she loves caring for others in her community and lifting them up through education, practice, and service. She is a Sagittarius sun, a Virgo moon, an Aquarius rising. She's your fairy godmother and mine. Karen, can you tell us a little bit about who this person is?
That's me. Oh, as you were reading that, I was like, oh, I want to get to know her. Oh, wait. Oh, thank
You're
you for
so
reflecting my
welcome.
own words back to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Welcome and
Ah,
just introduce yourself to the folks real quick.
I mean, what better introduction could there be than that? I am a professional mistake maker. Um, I feel like I'm spending a lot of time trying to prove to people that I'm human, and that it's okay to make mistakes. Um, and I do that in public for everyone to see as much as possible. Um, and not to humble myself necessarily. I feel I'm sufficiently humbled through life. But to give people permission by my example to try things, and maybe they don't work out, or maybe you don't know that you get another chance just by giving yourself permission to take another chance. So that's it. I think I'm a role model of being a professional mistake maker and making the best out of the materials I have.
Karen is also
And
one
I'm
of
a
the
mom, like
and
such a
yes,
mom.
Yes. Oh, and we're gonna totally get into that. I'm gonna get all of our links up there, especially the trailer for our new podcast that we're gonna be doing together. Karen, there's so much for us to talk about. I'm gonna really keep it together and try not to cry. Karen and I kind of actively we're kids of the 80s, we're Gen X, and we were trained not to cry, so we cry a lot now as grown-ups. But before we get into the
Rebels,
cry, yes, because rebels cry
tear-filled
too.
rebels. That's us.
I know we have a lot of causes, but Karen, tell us a little bit about your business. I like to think of our businesses as our other kinds of babies that we birth. Can you tell us
Oh
about
yeah.
your beautiful bouncing business?
Oh yeah. My it's as multidimensional as I am. I think the main thing I do uh, is help people see who they are and appreciate that through making. I like to think that I can inspire them to connect with their own heritage or each other through making things. And I also have a really technical side to my business. I do technical illustrations and write process steps for either manufacturing facilities or people sewing at home to make things themselves. Um, yeah, and I make custom garments that help people incarnate into whichever archetype they would like to embody, and that's a process that takes it takes a couple of months. So I'm already full. I opened the service not even publicly, and I'm already full for the year. But I will be starting in the second half of the year to take some appointments for that, and that's a process that involves making basically a supportive costume for your everyday life that carries energy with it and intention and sigils and fabric and your own dreams and your own care and comfort with your own body walking through the world supported. So yeah, and I also am a Gene Keys guide. I studied the Gene Keys, which is like it's a synthesis of the I Ching, astrology, human design, and the Wheel of Life, and it is, or Tree of Life, sorry. But there's a big mandala also that contains everything, and it was a way to get me deeper into my more esoteric practices. And I really feel like when I do those guide sessions, it's a way for me to spend an hour showing people how wonderful they are. And so I like to bring that reflecting back to people how wonderful they are into every part of my work. So yeah, that is that's the business. I just want everybody to know how wonderful they are, how loved, protected, cared for, and supported. Even if you only feel like even if you feel like I'm the only person who's doing that in the moment, I truly am.
I personally think, Karen, one of the most important things that an intuitive entrepreneur can do, that's somebody that's interested in the intuitive arts and are thinking about putting out their shingle, especially when they feel overwhelmed, especially when we feel like there's so much to do, our own deep universe and our potential is so vast. Like, how could we possibly do it all? We need clones. I think getting something like a Gene Keys reading, Karen's done a Gene Keys reading for me, which I really needed. At the time, I didn't know, but I was so overwhelmed. It was one of the most therapeutic and informative sessions I've ever had that really gave new verve and juice and vigor to me getting down to work and remembering that I'm a tarotpreneur for a reason,
Yeah.
and not to get overwhelmed. The things that were confusing me had a lot to do with my gene keys, and they were so illuminating. And that's one of the things I wanted to jump into because obviously, Karen, you're amazing professional. Your business is so great. I'm not just a friend of Karen. I'm also, like I'm a client. Karen has done my Gene Keys, and she was a part of my inner business witch coven. And so because of that, I would like to read a passage that I read in the book by and Karen, you have this book. We talked about this. It's Money Magic by Jessie
Yes.
Susanna Carnot's great book, and she talks
Of
and
course,
she's
I
a
immediately bought it when you said the name.
Yeah,
because
and
you're
it's just
like, you influenced me constantly in that way.
and I can tell. I wonder what you think. Like, I'm definitely, this is going to be one of my most well loved books. Like, you guys know, we're intuitives. There are some books that we buy, we read, we learn from, and they kind of go on the bookshelf, never to be touched again. Then there's like 8 to 10 books that are dog eared. They've
Yeah.
got coffee on them because we keep pulling this out. I can tell that Money Magic by the Money Witch is going to be one of the ones. But I love the way she gets started because she herself is a boss witch. So I want to use some of her words about how she starts talking about how she connected the intuitive witchy side of who she was with her business. And in her book, she writes, I started reconnecting to the emotional and spiritual world with a depth and an intensity I hadn't felt for a decade. She says that I strengthened my friendship with people around me who were also experimenting with tarot, crystals, herbs, sacred sound, energy, sex magic, and psychic connections. I found the word witch for myself. So, Karen, can you please, in that vein, can you talk to us about how you found the word witch for yourself, or how do you identify spiritually?
Ooh. Uh, how do I identify spiritually? I know I love how you have such a wonderful catchphrase for yourself. The catchphrase that is like, that makes it sound shallow, but it's like so deep and all encompassing. Your eclectic hoodoo. I don't have that. I feel like, in the words of a podcast I used to listen to, maybe I'm just a growth seeking being of consciousness.
Love
Thanks
it.
to Jess
Yes,
Lively
say
for that
more, say
term.
more.
I'm like, I have an insatiable desire to learn new things, and it almost always gets in my own way. So the continuous improvement, the like, oh, well, I can make this better. I can make this better, and then the making it better means that it never gets released. And so that is something I've really been working with, and like being okay with what is now, and being connected with my own ancestry, and like finding my own magic has definitely been a gradual process, though I feel like I am doing right now what little me would have dreamt and not know it's possible for a job. So, yeah, I don't really have a name for my spiritual practice. It is basically noticing everything all the time. That's
I
it.
love I love that. And do y'all see how I love the way you said that with such you said it with bass in your voice. Like you said that with your chest. Like and I love that. We've been talking about this and about a little bit about gatekeeping, how some people have problems with how
That's true.
we yeah, put words to things or label ourselves and we have a constant I know my sister and I have a constant conversation about it. You and the other magical moms have a constant conversation about it. So I just wanted to ask you that. And before I ask you, we get into tarot because I can't have a conversation with a boss witch without pulling out my cards. My
I
cards
don't
are in my
want you
hand.
to.
I know.
Please.
Karen knows in our working sessions together in our podcast, we pull a card. We pull a card. Even there are sometimes I have to work on my boundaries because when I'm working with these other amazing women, Karen, Erica, Aurora down there, like sometimes I have the cards in my hand and I'm like, oh, right, consent. I can't be reading for people without asking their permission, but we will get to that in a second. Karen, one of the ways that I'm getting to know you in a new way, and is which is why when I say like, ooh, sewing is sexy, when in taking Karen's Sewing is Magic course, and looking at one of the first videos, Karen is so warm, and to me it felt like warm and welcoming, and my 18-year-old was like, huh, is that your sewing, like this is your sewing class, your teacher's kind of sexy, huh? Like I was like, yes, she is. Karen manages to make sewing
I love the
sexy.
kids.
The kids are the best. Like they have no filters, which is so great. Another, and we'll get into magical motherhood later. But Karen, the title of your class, I'm going to put the link up there. I am having so much fun with it. Y'all know if this woman can teach me to sew, you know that there is some magic and power behind her and what she does. Karen, can I just ask you? And I also feel like sewing is one of the intuitive arts, like tarot, like tea reading, like using a pendulum, like augury, that is so old. It is so deeply high priestess and powerful. I would love for you to talk about, and I have a question for you. The name of your course is Sewing is Magic. Can you please tell everybody why sewing is magic?
Well, Every single person on this earth has an ancestor who made something with their hands. They had to sew their own clothes. They had to sew bags to carry food from the marketplace, or even before then, to carry home animals and gathered up herbs and vegetables or leaves to eat. That doesn't just come together without any effort. And nowadays, and perhaps this may even be over the past couple hundred years, but I know for sure now, magic is used, or the disparaging term of magical thinking, I don't think of it as that, but I hear it used as a way to describe something that's done with no practice, no effort, that it just happens by magic. But magic like that is something we only see from the outside. When you look at something and, oh, of course she can do it. That's just like her magic. Okay, yeah, that's true. But that magic comes through years of dedication and practice. And while you're in the middle of it, learning it, oh, it's not magic, it's a skill. It's not magic, it's just these steps, and you just follow these steps. And the more you follow the steps, the more it feels natural, and the more you feel connected with those ancestors who had to make things, and now we get to choose. And all of a sudden, after that practice and your own delight at making things with your hands, even or especially when it's something, you know, a little wonky or a little very personal that looks, oh, you can definitely tell that's handmade. Well, there is magic in that. And our hands are directly connected to our hearts. I mean, through traditional Chinese medicine, the hands are right on the heart meridian. I feel like, because I had a grandmother for the first 7 years of my life. Unfortunately, lost her very young, but she made clothes for me, and to me that was a pure expression of love, and so that is magic. And once you're in the practice and trying things and realizing that they can become more natural to you, whether you're using a machine or your hand, or even dreaming about things you can make, all of a sudden knowing it's a possibility, knowing that you yourself can create something, then it's magic again. Then it's not just the slog of learning 15 steps to a shirt or a headband or whatever. It's really making something from something else. It's transformative. It is alchemy, and you're the magic ingredient. You're the catalyst that turns whatever it is into something else that's better, that's more meaningful. Yeah. And the more we focus on developing our skills and our practice and seeing it as something we're doing for ourselves or for someone else, it's a gift. And that, of course, is magic too. Magic is a gift. And magic doesn't mean no effort, and magic doesn't mean not not paying attention to things, or things just appearing out of nowhere. There's no nowhere. It appears from somewhere, and that somewhere is you if you're making things yourself.
Oh my goodness, you're making me think of so many wonderful things I've learned from wise women in my life over the years. You're making me think about the amazing things that I know that women, especially my grandma Halicue, I mentioned her a lot when you were around, Karen, because I really truly feel in my meditation and and in my work in the Akashic realm, like it was as clear as day when you came into my life that you were the person that was going to teach me to sew, and that my grandma Halicue was happy and pleased whenever
Oh,
I pull up my coursework, when I look at my patterns, when I run my hand over the materials. I think about how so many of our mothers, our grandmothers, and even making wedding quilts, think about the
yeah,
love, the intention, the well wishes, sewing wedding dresses. I remember when you were working on a wedding dress for someone and you were sharing that with us,
yeah,
just how I thought about the impact and the just the potence of, the magical art of sewing, and how I feel like it is so much more beautiful. I take that back. I'm not going to compare, but it made me even appreciate my love of tarot more, being one of your students and being in community with you, and seeing how you took something that could be considered so simple but truly is its own intuitive and magical art, and how you share it with others. It's been amazing. I know this cohort is closed now, but you all please touch and save that link. I'm going to do a really quick reset before I pepper Karen with some more questions. Some of them are, it's a tarot question, and then we're going to jump into a little bit about Karen's work journey, right? Her work journey and what's led her to creating her business. And I want to ask this because we picked around the edges of it in conversations when we've been recording for the podcast. But Karen, first of all, what is your, I think instead of pulling a card for us, would you rather me pull a card for us, or you tell me and to tell our audience what your favorite tarot card is?
I mean, the magician,
Of
obviously.
course. Okay. Now let me find the magician
But I'll
and
take
pull
a
her
card
up.
too.
No, well, tell us why you love the magician. I'm going to find it. I'm going to pop it up here for us. But tell us why you love it.
I love the magician because it is a symbol of personal empowerment. It is
Right on.
working with the natural world, with all of the elements, with imagination, with the both sides, right? Not the mystical and the practical. I love bringing all of that together, and I really feel like it's so funny. I grew up not knowing where my magic came from until I realized, oh wait, my dad was literally a magician. Like that was his hobby. He went to clown school. He was a magical clown. He did magic shows like on the side of his actual job, which also was basically he did what I do with sheet metal, prototype development, that kind of thing. He could see something while it was made. He could break it down, and he still can break it down into its component parts. And I'm understanding that not everybody thinks like me, and so the magician, I feel like, also can see the component parts, like in the many different representations of the card. We'll see all the pentacles, the swords, the wands, and the cups together in that card, and also the infinity symbol and the connection to spirit. And yeah, it brings what we can see and what we can't see together to make something new and personal and connected. That's why I love the magician.
Thank you, Karen, for that. And you basically, y'all, I would put y'all through what the magician means, but Karen clearly, this is clearly a woman that likes and loves tarot. She is one of my favorite people to see in the tarot journal every Tuesday morning. And Karen also, as she teaches and talks with you, whether you're coming to her as a professional or whether you're coming to her as someone seeking a reading or a service, or especially as she teaches us about sewing and how to connect to it, she does manage to bring together these beautiful elements in order to catalyze and make change. It's truly, Karen, because of your magical, spiritual, and intuitive approach, clearly your magician's approach, that made it easy for me to want to learn from you, and made it easy for me to want to be friends with you. Karen, do you remember how we first kind of met?
Yeah, you told me we're we're gonna pass over all that bullshit, and we're just gonna decide to be friends, okay? Yes.
So awesome. I was a newbie in a,
You told me we would be friends, so we
yeah.
are.
So we are. And I love the way you were like, okay. I was like, can we, and y'all, if you're someone that I've said that to, you're a special person. It also shows my maturity and my growth. Like when I find you and I connect with you. And Karen, this was something, this was my first little peek into why I was going to love getting to know Karen as an intuitive business person, an owner of her own business. Because one of the first communications with me when I was new in this new magical intuitive biz community, I was just starting to experiment with email and email marketing and sending out emails. And Karen let me know that I was having a malfunction, that my freaking flow desk was sending out
Blank.
random blank emails. And there was something that I sent out, and Karen was like, I just want to let you know there was a tiny, like a tiny little, either that wasn't a mispronunciation, but it was a misspelling in something that I sent out. And I was so grateful for that. And that's when I began to see that, it's one thing to have your coven, or like with me and my sisters and my spiritual practice, I kind of call us a coven, but we practice together. There's that kind of, biz coven and, your collection of spiritualists that are around you. But then there's something so special and so magical about being around other women that understand business, They understand intuition. They understand the beauty of our, our lineages and our personal magic. And Karen is one of those people. Karen, at
Yeah.
some point, I feel every intuitive, every witch takes a look at the body of, their body of quote unquote work, their jobs, their careers. You've had some amazing careers, but at some point, those of us that are boss switches, we decided to take take our work, the thing that earns us money, and our magic, our practices, and mash them up, put them together to create a
Hmm.
magical career. To create a successful magical career is even more challenging. What led you to bring marriage? I mean, to because we're not going to say marriage, but how you managed to bring your magic and your purpose and your passion together in order to make money, right? To order to have some of that pentacles experience here on earth. What led you to that? And if you want to tell us about some of these amazing jobs and how you got there, I would love to know it.
Oh my gosh. Our friend Ariana says that I need to write a book that's basically just a list of all the jobs I've had in my life. So I think I just told you in Tarot Power Soul, my first job I got paid for was singing at weddings at 12 years old. Then my next job was transferring home movies to videotape, VHS or beta. That's how old I am, everybody. Um, in my friend's family's business, I was 13. I think I got a raise to make $3.15 an hour, which was above minimum wage at the time. Yeah, so there's that art and tech and, gosh, I mean, I've been a waitress everywhere, a bartender, coffee barista. Um, I think I just always, this is actually the first time in my life, since my youngest was born, um, the only time in my life I've ever had fewer than 3 concurrent jobs. At one point, I had 2 full-time jobs, one in Germany and one here, 2 corporate jobs at the same time. I used vacation from one to do work for the other, flying overseas to spend long weekends managing a marketing department in the German language for an automotive software company. So, yeah, um, I'm trying to think of some jobs I haven't had. Yeah, there are very few. I ran a call center. Everything involved connecting with people. I sold cars when I was 20 in Los Angeles. Every one of these jobs, though, everything from singing in front of people, even though I felt at the time it wasn't me singing, it was standing there allowing music to come through me. But it still required me to stand up in front of people. And I went through a period of time where I was very afraid to stand up in front of people and speak or be seen at all. And then I'm just coming out of that. I think actually when we met, like in the North Node, which is a holisticism, um, bless Michelle Pelizan for this group, community of intuitive business people. But I was just starting to come out of that at that time, and the support of meeting other witches who were identifying as such, who had businesses, was supportive to me. I mean, my Sagittarius stellium is in the 11th house. It's all about community and the greater good. And so, knowing that and really stepping into that helped me bring every single job. Running, like, did I say running a call center? Being an ISO 9002 auditor for processes.
Oh, girl, I
Selling
don't even
hardware
know
on
what
the
that
phone.
means. Like, what does that mean? Like, help me.
That means I wrote down every single step of a process to make sure that people could follow it so that they could be trained, so that anyone basically could step into a job and pick it up and do it. That's how I write sewing patterns, is so that I try to come at it from different angles so I can make sure that it is understandable through, not just the written instructions, but the diagrams that I draw or videos that I make or, verbal descriptions that I can provide. And every time I get a question, I try to answer it in the next iteration of whatever that pattern is too, so that nobody has to ask the same question. Yeah, so
Is that why
how did they
your
come together?
patterns?
That's
Yeah. Like, cause Karen, like as you're talking about this, I'm literally thinking about my favorite part of starting a new project and sewing its magic because I'm starting my apron this weekend. is that your patterns don't seem scary. Your patterns and printing them up are one of the best parts. When I look at it, when it comes off the printer, it says, it's okay, Hallicue, you can do this. I've made it beautiful for you because I know you like beautiful things and you're going to be
Yeah.
able to do it. Like literally. And so as you talk about some of the things you've done, that helps me understand why what you've created works for somebody like me.
And, I was diagnosed with ADHD at 49 years old, so maybe that explains why I
Holler
never
right there
finished
beside you.
college.
Yes.
Yeah, I never finished college, but the what was it? The CFO of at Ford World headquarters where I worked thought I worked directly for him in his finance department as a vice president. No, I am a strategy analyst, and you're welcome for everything I bring to this job as an uneducated, non-traditionally educated human being. I studied pattern making on my own, and I'm a professional pattern maker. I loved being in school. I loved doing homework, but I always had to hustle to pay for it, and so I would write other people's papers for money so that I could continue to go to school before I'd do my own. So yeah, that it helps me understand other people. It also helps me understand myself. This constant, like 12-lane highway in my mind is why I didn't bring the degree to the finish line, and I'm done being ashamed of that. So that was also such a big source of shame throughout my life that I had never finished. And also because it was hammered into me from my very own parents, degreeless themselves, who shamed me for not finishing school. So, there are 100 different right ways to do something, and I am not the person to tell you that your way is wrong. I'm going to help you figure out how your way is right and give you a couple other options. So that's why I feel like, yeah, sewing is a metaphor for making anything work in your life, but it's also an actual thing that can give you a gift that you make. So that's how it comes together.
This is, y'all, I talk to Karen a lot. We hang out for a couple hours, like every week, barring something crazy. And I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to pepper you with the questions that I have, and that I want to share with other people because it's knowing you, getting into your world, being a friend, being a student, being a client has been something that has supercharged and superpowered my what has been an amazing ride in my business this last year and a half. And one of the things that I love to kind of compare to tarot. I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to take a picture of the Fool. You guys, a lot of for April
Oh,
1st.
that's me too.
Yeah, there we go. Going on an adventure. Okay, I'm going to
Yeah.
put this photo up, and it connects it directly to the question I have for you because I think there comes something that I call like a seer or a mystic or a witch's reconciliation. Something happens that makes us think, okay, I'm taking what I love to do, I'm going to do it in a special way, and I'm taking it prime time. I'm starting my business. I call it like a witch reconciliation moment. Something that has to happen, and this is how I'm asking for your message. Of advice, your words of wisdom. On Clubhouse, we talk about dropping gems. What is your advice around what a mystic or a witch must reconcile in order to take the fool's leap to start your intuitive business? What do you think has to happen, and what is your best advice?
We have to practice saying what we want and what we mean out loud with our mouths. Out loud. That's it. That's
Give
it.
us an
Not
give
hiding
us
who
an
we are.
example. Yep, give us an
Um,
example. What were the words that came
Naming
out of your mouth
ourselves
when you? Yeah.
as witches, as saying what our magic is, calling it magic, and not being ashamed of that. I live in a house of human clocks who always demand proof. And guess what? I'm able now to exist without allowing them to turn that into me oppressing myself because of their desire to understand why and how. It doesn't mean they're discounting me. And if it does, well, then they can do that on their own because I'm not going to take it that way. I'm going to allow it. I'm going to allow their questions and pushing up against me for proof that what I do is real as a challenge to myself. So I can say it out loud, unafraid, and or maybe you know what, it's never unafraid. I got to tell you, it's never unafraid. So I guess don't wait. There's my other tip. Don't wait until you're not afraid because the time has passed at that point. Bravery requires fear and caution. You can't be brave if you're not afraid. Then you're just unafraid. Like not having fear to overcome means that there's not bravery involved. You have to make a choice to do it anyway or to try it anyway. And you never know what's going to happen. Never, never. But you'll absolutely never know if you don't do it out loud. And my headphones just died. So hopefully that didn't get lost.
No worry. No, no, no. We got every single thing. And because I
Be
haven't had,
scared and try it anyway. That's it.
yes, this is which is isn't that emblematic of the fool, right?
Yeah.
Like, do it
Well, I don't know.
scared.
Is the fool afraid? I don't feel like the fool is afraid.
I guess it depends on how you come to the fool, but you're
Yeah,
right.
that's true too. That's
The
true.
purest essence of the fool is definitely not afraid. It's such a beautiful card and a beautiful symbol. Some
Yeah.
tarotologists or tarot historians say it's a new soul being born.
Yes.
Um,
And
and
that
that you're
innocence or ignorance doesn't have fear built in. And so, as people who live in the world, we definitely have things we grew up that it's reasonable to be afraid of or unreasonable. And either way, we're not going to get to do what we want in this life unless we try anyway. And we will draw people to us who will support us simply by saying things out loud. And I don't mean necessarily support us by giving us money. They could support us by being alongside us as we try things. They could support us by paying us for services or by sharing about what we're doing. But they could also support us by simply saying, I see you. I see you.
Karen, I think that a boss switch is someone that is able to successfully combine unique um, their unique DNA,
Yeah.
their ancestral magic and lineage, and the power and strength of their intellect, their mind, and whatever it is that they're good at, whether it's the work of their heart, their mind, or their hands. They magically combine that, and they
Yeah, all
decide
three.
to, yeah, to take that fool's lead. A you are a boss witch. I can't believe that I have the pleasure, honor, and privilege to not only be your friend, but to be your colleague. I have put up in the link above, guys, um, the trailer for our new podcast called
Yes.
Magical Motherhood. Karen, can you talk to us a little bit about that and why you're excited about this Queen of Swords podcasting journey?
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, I love that we started it together. We were asked, or we were invited to propose a panel for the Summer Solstice Festival last year with our holisticism family, and it was to be, public for everybody, not just members. And you asked me, you want to do this with me? And I said, yes, but we're not doing it without these two. Let's invite them. And so now the four of us who formed that panel are people who across the spectrum and across the journey of parenting. We have one of us has tiny baby. I have adults. I mean, I'm hopefully going to be a grandmother if my oldest can, adopt or have a child as she's trying. And then, some of us have teenagers like you and younger children. And so that experience that we bring from different times in different perspectives and with our own unique um, histories to it, I think that in itself, when people hear our conversations, they're going to feel not alone and hopefully supported and permission to do things differently.
this podcast feels like breaking generational curses and taboos about what it means to be brave and to be a parent. Also, the whole start of it, we had this wonderful panel, and so many people were texting and DMing and saying, when are you going to do something like again? Like, are you going to plan something so we can all get together again? And then we did. We were so excited we planned something, and 0 people
Oh,
signed up.
y'all did nobody show
So
up. And all that
nobody.
did was strengthen our
We were like,
resolve.
fine. Yeah,
Yeah. So we're going to do a podcast now.
fine. We'll do
Now
a
what?
podcast so they can show up on their own time. And it's
Oh
just
my
been
God.
so wonderful. Oh, this whole experience has been so wonderful. And I really look forward to us. Gosh, I'm almost done with our first set of episodes. So, yeah, having those out in the wild. Oh, it's so exciting.
It is. You're amazing.
And
Karen.
vulnerable because we're
Oh,
sharing our hearts for
yes.
anyone to hear, not pre-selected, self-identified,
Yeah.
magical mommies necessarily. So
Yeah.
it's a little scary, and
It
that's what we
is.
need for bravery, right? We're all courageous moms.
I love that you spoke about that earlier with the fool and taking the leap and do it scared. Like
Yeah,
I'll never forget. Like somehow I got that affirmation, that mantra in my head when I
yeah,
kind of first got started on Clubhouse, and it was like you need to be doing your own rooms, and I was like, oh, can I do it by myself? And then I remember just for the tarot journal, I remember the fool's leap. Like, yeah, just do it scared. If you are
yeah,
yeah, if you're an intuitive, you're thinking that business and you want to combine those things together and do it. I do want you to remember the fool. Like
yeah,
Karen said, like she doesn't even know if the fool's afraid, and they're usually not. The character is usually, the image is usually shown to be a young person. It's a young person that's well dressed. They've got a little dog beside them, companionship. They travel light. It means that the universe is giving you everything you need to take that
yeah,
leap. The sun is shining on you. The wind is at
yeah,
your back. Go ahead and do it. You have no idea what's down there. It could be a bed of rose petals. It could be a beautiful crisp snowbank, right?
right.
It could be, it could be kind of a challenging terrain, but even no matter what, you've got what it takes, and now is the time to do it. Now is the time to go.
Yeah,
Karen.
especially when forging our own paths. Sometimes it feels like we're stepping into air. And
Yeah.
maybe the fool is not about ignorance, maybe, or innocence. Maybe the fool is about trust. And so we build trust through practice, right? And so maybe taking that step into air or into an uncharted area means that the ground will appear underneath our foot.
I want everybody to follow you here on Clubhouse. I invite everybody to follow you on Instagram to get into Karen's world. I have put Karen's link, her beautiful bio site link, up there. It's absolutely gorgeous. But Karen, like, are there any other places or any other offerings that you want people to get excited about, and you want people to find you before we get ready to say goodbye?
I think that bio site usually has the most recent links, but my website, KarenLePage.me, is usually pretty up to date too. I offer a quarterly mending lab that is pay what you wish, which can also mean free. So please come with your heart and your broken things, and we will fix them together every quarter. So there's a different theme, and so that's a way for people to get together and even just have accountability to show up for a couple hours on Zoom and darn your socks or fix your jeans or sew a button on in community. That would be where to start, I think. The sewing labs, mending labs. Mm-hmm.
My goal is to get my daughters, there's an L-shaped rip in her favorite pair of jeans, and my goal is to get into the mending lab before she goes off to college
Yeah.
to fix them in some
Oh yeah.
really cool and beautiful way. And something tells me I'm going to torture Karen by getting her to teach me embroidery.
It's not
I'm a
torture.
little
It's my favorite thing.
It's so
Please
beautiful.
ask me questions.
I keep
Answering questions
seeing
is my favorite thing.
I keep seeing all of these amazing things that people are embroidering, like the pockets of blue jeans, and I want to do that so badly. So, and I'm going to be talking about it as I go on these magical sewing journeys with
Oh,
my
yeah.
good
Well,
girl.
you can start with things that are ready to be donated because then there's nothing to lose, right? It's either a gift for the person who receives it from
Right.
Goodwill or wherever you send it, or it was great practice for you. And now it can be sent to Thread Cycle or some other textile recycling program where they can turn it into carpet pads or automotive upholstery or whatever they use shredded textiles for. So, it's not that's a really low barrier to entry kind of practice if it's something that's already like on its way out the door.
Oh my gosh,
um yeah, so
you're
start
amazing. Like
start there,
even
start at the lowest possible risk. You don't have to be very brave, just be a tiny bit brave.
just a teeny bit brave. Like
Yeah, it
how
doesn't require like jumping off a cliff. It can require like going down a different street, period, that's well
it was
lit
like,
and people are there who love you.
oh my God, Karen's like, yeah, sewing didn't have to be scary. It's
No.
don't frighten people. How it can be magic. It is magic. It absolutely is. Karen, thank you. Karen was the first person up on what I call my cosmic couch, but I wanted to aim big. I wanted to aim for the skies as
Oh,
your spiritual sister, your sister from another mister,
yeah.
a colleague, a girlfriend. Girl, with all the love of my heart and Terra Power Soul, thank you for hanging out. And I'd love for you in your own special way before, and I'm only getting us off because I think Karen has a very special sewing class, sewing instruction that's coming up
Yes,
after this,
my
right?
daughter is coming to learn how to sew, going through the Sewing is Magic curriculum, but in person with me. My adult daughter, on her day off,
Imagine.
comes for a
Oh my.
lesson with me. She's
Oh,
making her shirt today. She made the pattern last week. So, um, surprise yourself. That's it. Try something and surprise yourself.
ah, Karen, thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me up on the cosmic couch today. Everyone,
Thank you. I love you.
I love you right back, Mama. And I didn't even get a chance to fun stuff about you. Sagittarius Sun, Virgo Moon, Aquarius Rising. It is only out of deep respect for trying to understand time and how time works, and that we have appointments that I'm forcing myself to in the room. But I really encourage everybody to follow Karen here, get into her DMs, back channel her. You may have questions about her offerings, what she does, what was her fool's leap, about some of the amazing experiences Karen had and how she decided to become an intuitive entrepreneur. Y'all are going to be seeing and hearing from Karen often. You all get over to that link that I put up. Go to the replays for Magical Motherhood. Listen to the trailer so you can get into our magical motherhood journey. Everyone, I'd love for you to tap the Tarot Power Soul little green chateau up there in the far left hand corner, up at the very, very top, and join us here. I'm going to be putting the replay of this into our Tarot Power Soul home on Geneva. But because I want so many people to get into Karen's world, I'm going to leave it up a little bit longer here on Clubhouse than I normally would, and go back and make those connections. It's one of the reasons Clubhouse is amazing. Twitter is great. We're all on Facebook and Instagram. Well, not maybe not all of us are on Facebook, but we're all on Instagram, owned by Meta. But Clubhouse is one of my absolute favorites, and why I will always be a Clubhouse creator, because I want y'all to get up close and personal with real people doing real magic in the real world. And
Mm.
Karen, you're one of the bossiest boss witches that I know in a good way. Thank you, Mama.
Thank you. See you in Geneva.
See you in Geneva. All right, I love y'all. I'm gonna put up. Can I put up that Geneva app? I'm gonna try to put it
Please
up real
do.
quick. Let me put it up there.
It's on the
Um,
front page of my phone. I pop in
oh,
regularly.
right on. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up there too. Our
Yeah.
new book club is we're gonna be reading the Money Magic book by Jesse Carnat. So we're gonna be doing a full-on discussion of the book, complete with tarot tarot card readings, and ways to help us work with all of these magical tools to help us heal our finances. Even those of us that are in kind of good shape still have a lot of shadow work and money work to do. So I'm going to
Hmm.
enjoy it. And y'all get over to the Tarot Power Soul Club on Geneva and hang out with us and enjoy it, because I'm putting up Karen's card and the replay in there today. So get over in there, and maybe you'll see Karen there or DM her there, and get into conversation. This is how the magic happens. This is how you become a boss with yourself. Karen, thank you.
Thank you.
Love you, Mama.
Love you too. See you later.
All right. Bye, y'all. And I'm going to count us out in five, four, three, two, one. Bye, y'all. All the love in my heart and Terra Power Soul. Love y'all. Bye.